some scenes for the Habibs, I'd put myself in the room and would work on like a couple of scenes for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And my mum used to knock on the door sometimes.
People don't
Like,
get
do you
it.
want to eat? I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten. Doesn't matter how talented you are, you've got to give it your all when it comes to hard work. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't put that to proper use or proper work, it's not going to mean nothing.
Was there ever a time in your journey that you almost gave up on the dream?
I find the second you allow yourself to give up on something, you've lost. So it doesn't matter how shit it is and how much you want to kick and scream and be like, this isn't fair. I used to be like, I just got to keep chipping away at it. I could sit here and say, I'm not getting these auditions, or I can go do something about it.
Yeah.
There's always a way. You can wait to score something big, or you can try to make something happen yourself.
As someone who is completely taking the risk and backing yourself and just committing to living a life, doing the things you love, why do you do it?
Really makes me happy, dude. Like when you see people laughing, or you see the effect you can have on people. It's probably so cliche to say, but life is so short. And I find, doing what you love and doing your passion puts a smile on your face every single day, or at least for like a minute a day, dude. You're doing something right.
Over the past few years, my life has completely changed. I've built one of Australia's most successful e-commerce startups, Happy Skin Co., generating over 10 million per year in sales and disrupting $1 billion industry in the process. I've now turned my passion for growth and personal development to bring you these honest and eye-opening conversations. This isn't just a business podcast. This is about the person underneath. This is about the journey. This is what it's really like. I'll be interviewing guests from all walks of life, each with their own unique perspectives and experiences, from the hardest day of their life to the biggest accomplishments and everything in between. My name is Dylan Mullan, and this is Life, Money and Love. Cool, we're back. We were just chatting off air. I haven't seen Sam for I thought it was 5 years, but it's 8 years.
8 years, man.
With COVID and how fast life's changed over the last 4 or 5 years, bro. It feels like I couldn't tell you if it was 3 years ago I saw you, 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
I can't believe it when we're walking up the stairs talking about it was 8 years. I was like, man. We have to wipe off the years of COVID.
Yeah,
and COVID took 3 years. It's been 5 years, I reckon.
Bro, I don't know. I'm just glad that's over because I've lost a whole sense of time after that. I don't know what's what. Were we doing the last time, before you graduated Pulse, when, for people that don't know, everyone knows that I'd acted for a bit. That's kind of where I knew Sam. We spent a bit of time together through acting. That feels like another lifetime ago. Sam was always a little bit ahead of me. You're in advanced and I was in intermediate classes and stuff. And unlike me, Sam went on to actually have a successful acting career. But remember we were rehearsing at the park and doing all those random exercises?
Man, I remember I used to walk up and used to be eating the same spaghetti with meat.
Yeah,
and I used to think to myself, how's this guy so shredded?
Yeah, man.
All he does is eat pasta. I look at pasta and I put on weight.
Yeah, bro.
You were eating 4 tubs a day.
I still eat heaps of, I'm veg right now, so I haven't eaten meat for 3 years, but bro, it's still the same. I have that much bread, pasta, carbs. All that sort of stuff. Anyway, just good to catch up. This will be a different one. A lot of guests we have from different walks of life, of course, but this one, an actor. We've had Brenton, who's kind of an actor as well, but he's done a bit of business stuff. Yeah. But why I want to chat to you, man, you're being an actor is probably the biggest leap of faith you can make in terms of picking a career and going after what you want. It's not easy. It's difficult. There's no guarantees. So I think there's a lot of it, regardless if people want to be an actor or just a change of life or do what they love. I think they'll be able to learn a lot from your journey. And dude, where I want to start, obviously successful actor now. For those of you who don't know, he's done a bunch of Australian TV series. We're just talking about a really cool animated series that Sam did. And as someone who spent years working with Sam and doing acting stuff, I'm I'll listen to a couple episodes and see if I can spot Sam. Would never have guessed that was Sam's voice. So that was epic. But again, probably most people would know you from, we're playing Toufic from Here Comes The Habibs. Yeah. Which from anyone, Yui's nodding along. Anyone from Australia would know that was one of the biggest network TV shows a few years back and would have been a wild ride. And I want to get into that because would have been, I'm sure, a whirlwind couple of years doing all that stuff. But bro, where I want to start, you seem like a boy's boy, you just always get on, easy to hang out with. But growing up in Western Sydney, being an artist or an actor or someone that wanted to pursue that life, I don't imagine there were too many other people that were into that you grew up with. What was that like for you?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, man, I wanted to become an actor in high school. So I was about 16 years old, but I told nobody.
You didn't tell anyone?
Did not even tell my family. Didn't tell my friends. Yeah. Told absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
And I just went for it, man. I used to... after school, I used to go to acting class.
Yeah.
So I started at the Pulse at
Is
16,
the Pulse the
17.
first place you started?
First place, yeah.
And did you finish school at 16, or were you still doing high school?
No,
and you still doing part
still
time?
doing high school.
Did you start the proper course? Like
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
when you were in
I
school?
started in August, when I was 16, August 2010, I think it was.
yeah,
And I like after school.
Yeah.
I used to go to rep.
Yeah.
In my school clothes, used to go down to
Yeah,
the rep in town hall. Man, I loved it, but I told absolutely nobody. You know,
Yeah.
especially my background, being Lebanese and stuff. It's not really something that someone goes to do. We
Yeah.
usually go do a trade. We usually go, become a doctor, engineer. Something that's
more conventional, I suppose.
more conventional, more secure. So something like doing acting was like a massive thing. So I knew I was like, what, if I'm gonna go for this, I'm just gonna have to give it all my all. And I told nobody, and then eventually I done a Woolworths commercial. That's my Woolies, and everyone's like, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
The principal called me up and goes, come here. Is this where you're going
Yeah.
after school? And then, from there, I let my parents know, this is what I wanted to do. And obviously they were a bit, like, oh, you sure? But I was so surprised, like someone, especially like my father, was like, you know what? Go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. You're young. You got the whole world in front of you right now.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, whatever. And I just, I like from my first class, I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Wow.
And, growing up watching Jim Carrey, I used to love The Mask. I used to like, put things on my face, like I want to, do something like that, make people laugh, make people happy. And, acting, voice acting has been that.
When did you first start? Obviously you started when you were 16, but when did you first start thinking growing up that, hey, I want to kind of be in the entertainment space?
I always felt like it was something that would naturally come to me growing up. All I used to do, like even as a kid, I used to love watching cartoons, but I used to love watching a lot of, dramas and comedies. And I just really kind of loved that. But I would say probably from the age of like 13, 14, I started looking into it. And just like everything I saw on TV, I'd copy.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, I can relate, man. Anytime I'd watch like a different TV series or a movie series, I'd be so in love with that world. And I'd be like, I'd watch Prison Break, was a show I watched a lot through high school.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm like, something would be fun to go to prison. Like,
Yeah.
I watch
like
a cop show, I want to be a cop. I watch a law show, I want to be a lawyer. So that, like, you start thinking, fuck, I want to experience all the type of, like, as many different things as I can in the world. And obviously you can't do it, but if you're an actor, you kind of can in a way, you know what I mean?
You got authority to do everything.
Anything.
You know what I mean? The more you dive into those kinds of things, the more you're kind of applauded for it. Because you get to bring those to life, and you kind of get to walk. Enjoy the journey of what these people go through. If it's like someone like police officers, or
I'm surprised your dad was so supportive. Like most European or Middle Eastern parents, when their son or daughter says, "I want to be an actor," it's usually like, "No, you're not."
Yeah. I was, to be honest, I was expecting that. And I would say probably 3-4 years into my course though, when I was still studying, and I was there almost every single day. I would kind of, not necessarily family, but I would kind of get passing comments by friends saying, oh, you've studied for 3 or 4 years. You could have become like a doctor or, a lawyer, or you could have become something more reputable. Then you feel like you're kind of wasting your life a bit. But you know what? Every time I heard that, I don't know why, I never really got upset by it or frustrated.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I still actually remember someone, it was a friend that had come over, and still sticks with me to this day because I remember they were pouring themselves a drink, and that's exactly what they said to me. They go, you've done it for 3-4 years, why don't you, blah, blah, blah. And I remember like closing the fridge, and I remember just thinking to myself, like, as much as it kind of got to me, it kind of drove me even more. It was like people's negativity was my fuel to really want to become successful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Really wanted to get there. And obviously when eventually got the role on the TV show, they were the first people like, I believed in you.
Yeah, like I always knew you were going to make it, Sam.
Thank you,
like,
you.
what did your mate, what were your mate, like your close group of mates saying when they first found out? Did they find out at the same time with the Woolies commercial?
About the Habib show?
No, about when you first started acting.
Oh, yeah. They were all like, in high school, I almost immediately became the kind of kid of like, oh, what are you doing next? What are you doing? Can you, who's your agent? Can you get me an agent? And it's like everybody wanted to become an actor. You know what I mean? And it was fun. Obviously, I said, this is where I do it at. You should come and stuff. But,
it's not for everyone, man.
It's not for everyone, like honestly, especially in the arts range, you're giving a lot of yourself. A lot of yourself. You're opening up your heart. You're opening up everything that you have. Vulnerable. You're putting yourself so vulnerable, and you're putting yourself in like. Man, I remember some scenes for the Habibs. I'd put myself in the room and would work on like a couple of scenes for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like my mum used to knock on the door sometimes. Like, do you want to eat? I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten. Yes, can I eat? So, and that's another thing that kind of was reassured me that this is what I wanted to do. I mean, I didn't want to sometimes like leave my room from just the amount of work or listening to stuff or doing preps. And just really.
That's the thing, man. With acting, bro, you really have to not want to be an actor. You have to need to be an actor almost. Like there's this quote. I think it was, I never remember who it was from. It was either Robin Williams or Jim Carrey. And they said, when people come to me for advice, like, I want to be an actor, should I be an actor? And they say, only become an actor if you need to become an actor. Because like you said, bro, you're putting yourself out there. There's so much work. There's so much vulnerability. You're giving so much of yourself. Like people don't understand when I was doing acting training and going through like the prep stage and then like the higher levels when you're doing like some character work and relationship work, you are giving so much of your psyche, your emotional energy. And if you're not like fully committed to it, it's going to weigh you down and wear you out.
100%. You're sharing everything. And especially in the classes we used to pretty much bear it all when we're on the couch.
In front of a bunch of strangers. Man.
Just tell them what we're going through, or this is this, or a lot of it was imaginary. Which was cool, but man, you'd have to give so much of yourself, but also another part of it is having to deal with things after you have gotten somewhere. Specifically in my show, like there were people who didn't before they didn't watch. They had ever watched the show. Before they knew anything about the show. They already had their point of views about it.
Okay.
And I'm not joking to you, Dylan. It got to a point where I went to go get a coffee. And the lady knew about the show. And her friend, I think her partner at the time, was like, oh, that's the guy that's on the show. I'm not joking to you. She would not make a coffee. Like, even though I was paying, she would not make my coffee. And I was like, and I sat there like, I was like kind of awkward and a bit like, what's going on? She's like, I think the show is a bad, blah, 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 blah. And her partner was like, you haven't even watched the show yet? Whatever. She's like, no, I don't like it. And as a matter of fact, I signed the petition to take it off the air.
Wow.
And I said, okay. I said, but you understand that that's just my job. Like I'm not walking around as Toufic right now. Like, I don't got the jet ski right now. I didn't come to the coffee shop on a jet ski or something.
Where was she coming from?
Crazy.
Was she Lebanese or was she like Australian?
She was Lebanese. Yeah, she was Lebanese. But I don't know. Like it was just odd. But it kind of made me realize that doesn't matter what you do. No matter if it's good, no matter if it's bad, there's always going to be people that are going to hate without even knowing anything.
Did you get much hate for that role? Because it's a very positive show, very great positive, comedy. You know what I mean? It was, but like you said, I'm sure there was, because I was doing a bit of research into like everything you did, and obviously it's been 8 years. I didn't know everything, and then there's some articles of like, and this is I think kind of where she might have been coming from. That it's promoting casual racism and stuff, and then you're like, these people haven't watched the show. You got to understand it. And like the cast, all like Middle Eastern people. Like this is people sharing the culture, and it wasn't to be a negative thing to anyone. You know what I mean?
It's comedy. It's sitcom. It's comedy. I mean, when you watch every other sitcom and comedy, they're characters.
Exactly.
The comedy is from the character. It's not representation of a particular culture or anything. You could have put any family in there. Any type of like culture in there. You could have put a Vietnamese family. You could have put a Samoan family. You could have put a Greek family. It's the same thing. It's just comedy. It's a fish out of water comedy. And it's Australian made. It's it's something to be proud of. But yeah, people like. But at the same time though, there were a lot of positive.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of positive. Like. Got to the point where, especially in my area in Bankstown.
Oh, you're the biggest celebrity on the planet, right?
It was to the point where there were like please do not come to the shopping center. I remember getting a message saying, please do not come to the shopping center without messaging us first, please.
Far out. Security and stuff.
It was like people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, like teenagers and stuff that were very happy, very proud and, wanted to take photos and stuff. But
for anyone who doesn't know the area, Western Sydney, how would you explain it to people that don't understand it?
I'd have to say it's a lot more, it's a lot louder. Very multicultural.
Yeah.
Like very, very friendly. I'd have to say very vibrant, like when there's like a party or there's some kind of celebration, even if it's the Bulldogs that win a game.
One
People
game.
are playing drums.
We're cheering now,
It's like, relax, they've only won one game this year.
It was a good win, but.
Yeah, it was a good win.
There you go.
Yeah. But very, very lively. It's a very, very lively place where everybody knows everybody in a way. Yeah, it's like that.
And with that, obviously, the last, how long ago was that? 5 years ago, Dad? Something like that? 4 or 5 years?
2016 and 2017, yeah.
Because it was a process to get there, right? The first time you get the ad, everyone's like, oh, who's your agent, Sam? Who's your agent? Everyone, like the thing with acting, I'm sure you've noticed it, like the highs and lows, you'll see certain people only come up at the highs, and then when things are quiet, then they're like hiding in the bushes, right?
Have
you had any experience like that? Like
yeah. Oh, I even had this one experience where a day before I started shooting, I had a friend of mine call me and they knew that I had gotten the role and stuff. And, but I immediately thought that they'll be happy and stuff, right? But strangely enough, they actually called me the day before and started pretty much putting me down, trying to remind me of, all the bad work that I have done in acting.
Really?
Like obviously when you're 16, 17, if you forgot a line or, because when you first jump on screen, you're like, you're shaking or whatever.
You watch your first scenes back? Even the first,
everybody, you gotta start somewhere, man. You gotta start. Doesn't matter how talented you are, you've got to give it your all when it comes to hard work.
Exactly, yeah.
You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't put that to proper use or proper work or, use those tools to get somewhere, it's not going to mean nothing at the end of the day,
Yeah.
But but I had one experience where, I had a friend just pretty much like, it's very odd. Obviously later on down the track, they apologized for it. And
it's a reflection of them anyway,
It
right?
is.
Did you realize that at the time or were you a bit cut?
Oh, no. To be honest, when they were telling me all of this, I remember I had my phone on my ear and then as they started, I actually I was just in this space where it was unfuckwithable. Is that the saying where I was just like very protective about my energy, I should say. I was shooting tomorrow. I've done all my work and it's like I feel like I was like floating a bit. I don't know how to explain it.
I know what you mean.
Weird feeling. It's like it's like you're almost there. So when they started saying all this negative stuff, I actually took the phone off my ear and turned down the volume. And and every so often I'd put the phone back on my ear. They'll keep going and then I'd put the phone. I was just like, yeah. So that's all I did. And I'd catch some of the bad stuff they were saying and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I'd be like, I understand. Yeah. Okay.
Were they from the acting space at all?
Yeah. Yeah, they're from the acting space, yeah. And they were someone that was like with me through the journey pretty much. Like I used to rehearse with this person. Very, very often.
Rehearsing with someone for people that aren't actors is a very intimate thing, man.
Very intimate.
You're building, you're vulnerable, you're testing, you're failing, you're fucking up way more than you're doing it right. You know what I mean?
Heaps, yeah. That's where everything starts pretty much, you know what I mean? And then you kind of work together or, one helps each other,
Probably, do you think it was out of their own insecurity or maybe a little bit of jealousy that it wasn't them at that time?
They later on said to me, which I was like, okay, but I think there was another way you could have gone about it was they knew that they were going to lose me.
Okay.
That's it. Once I got this role, that's it. I was just gonna go on tours and I was just gonna forget them pretty much. But I was like, that's not the case at all. I'm just busy.
Yeah.
I'm trying obviously because once I got the role, I had to go to rehearsals and a whole bunch of stuff and I'd be rehearsing 6, 7, hours a day, I wouldn't even put my phone next to me. You know, I'd be gone. So obviously they'll send a message.
And particularly like, okay, you've been working already, grinding, 8 years in the acting space, give or take, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, this is like the biggest role you've had. You've done all this work and this is the biggest opportunity you had. Bro, of course, I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm going to be giving, if you thought I was working hard before, I'm going to be giving 110%. Now this is your time, man.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I did. Like I didn't allow anybody to kind of get to me with that because I was like, man, smart. I've worked so hard on this, man. Like I used to, like back at the Pulse, I used to rehearse almost 7 days a week.
Yeah, bro.
Quite literally 7 days a week. And, you know, I just loved it. Yeah. You know, I really, really loved it.
Well, let's talk about the journey and then I want to know about the process actually for the role because that's one thing I always knew you as a very hard worker and clearly determined to make a success of himself because in acting, it is so hard. Like what's the percentages of someone who starts an acting career versus ends up getting like work? It's so small, bro. You have to work that hard. But when you were doing part-time when you were at school and then did you go full-time? Were you doing part-time?
I stayed part-time, but it was pretty much full-time.
Yeah. Like what was your week like when you were like fully in acting school, let's say advanced, like how much work you putting in? Because people don't understand.
It's a lot of work.
And I remember because when I was in doing acting, I was at the Pulse, I was doing full-time. That was because I went to uni, fucking hated it. I'm like, let's just have fun. People that I was in uni doing full-time uni degrees, they would have like, I remember because I compared it to them when they said I'm so busy. They had like 10 hours of in-class time and like a little bit of like work outside. I was doing like 20 hours of in-class time. And if you have 20 hours of in-class time, bro, for a 3-hour class, how much work do you put in preparing for 1 2 to 3 hour class?
Oh,
bro.
For 1 3-hour class, which you're probably up there for 5-10 minutes maximum.
Yeah.
Like maximum, depending on what teacher you had, you'd be up there for a minute if you weren't,
sit down.
if you forgot a line or something. But man, something like scene week, you would be rehearsing for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For like 2 classes.
Yeah.
3 weeks. There was even a time apart from Pulse where I did the Larry Moss, Larry Moss masterclass when he came to Australia in Bondi. And with my partner, we were working every single day from 9 to about 6 p.m. For like a whole 3 weeks. Got so much to the point where I even told him, man, we have to have a day off. My head, like, I need to relax.
What are you doing to prepare for that? Like, was it scene stuff in the Larry Moss? Or?
It was scene stuff. It was relationship stuff. Okay. It was story stuff. Yeah. It was character stuff. It was accents. There was just so many complexities to it. And obviously, like working with someone someone like Larry Moss, who's a legend. Best
of the best, man.
Right? Like, legend. You want to give it your all. You know, 100%. This is not the time to be like, I'm going to, sit down and watch something.
And for whoever's not an actor, like Larry Moss is like the most world-renowned acting coach in the world. Like he's the guy who coaches all the celebrities and stuff. Like he's the man. He's the man. And
he worked with Meisner as well, which is what
I didn't know he did Meisner.
Yeah, he did Meisner. Okay, There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. So, I learned so much from him. I actually learned something from him and like probably a couple of seconds that doesn't matter how many years of acting school I did. He actually said, I remember he said to me, he said, what's your background? And I said, I don't know. Sorry. He goes, where are you from? I said, I'm here. I'm born in Australia. He goes, no. Like, what's your background? And I said, I'm Lebanese. He was like that. And he goes, you think in 2 different languages.
Wow.
And I said to him, wow. And he goes, it's a powerful tool, but you need to know what, he said, but you need to adjust it to the material that you're working on. That was one of the first things he ever told me. And the next time from that on, my auditions, everything just went through the roof because I would literally just, when I would get something, would be like, what am I adjusting my tools to? Yeah. To what particular character, what particular scene. Everything became so clear to me after that.
And bro, talk about working hard with acting. There's a lot of other easier techniques you can learn than the Meisner technique. Yeah. It is like building yourself from the ground up. Like it is.
For sure.
It is deep work, man. What about emotionally? I know that I had a big change emotionally when I went through like emotional preparation in acting, and still obviously haven't done any acting for like 5 years. I still love it. Like a lot of friends in the industry, for me, the reason I left was because, like I was saying before, probably didn't need to be an actor.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but I wanted to have a little bit more control in my life. And as you know, bro, how hard you work to get where you are, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I would love to do it again in the future, but fuck, what was I saying, bro? I completely forgot. What was I saying?
About you were saying about the reason why you stopped doing it.
Yeah.
You no longer wanted to be an actor.
But I had a point to make. What were you just talking about before?
Was talking about Larry Moss, about how many
emotional prep, bro. There we go. I'm saying regardless of if I ever acted again, bro, it was the best thing for me as a human being because I understood myself emotionally 10 times better than I did before. To be able to connect to my emotions and to be able to watch a movie or think to myself and cry and experience a wider range of emotions changed my life forever.
Yeah.
Changed my life forever. What was that process like for you? Were you very, you know how like some people come first day acting class to crying? Like, well, you're blessed with like, you're really good with that emotional stuff. For me, I wasn't. Again, I'm from Western Sydney, Liverpool. I wasn't a kid who was very in touch with my emotions. Was that a big change for you? Did you already kind of naturally have that in touch with your emotions or?
Yeah. It, like especially emotional prep, when you got up to prep, it really opened me up emotionally as well. But I mean, specifically, it made me realize how, like, who's important to me too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like who's really, really important to me. And like, obviously, like you had to think very deep emotionally. You had to go to places, especially when you've done extreme bad. You know, that's like thinking about someone passing away, you know, and you feel it, like you would feel it. Now, from an acting point of view, it's amazing. But when you come back to reality, no matter how sad that was, you're going through it, you kind of feel like your point of view slightly changes to that person because you're like, man, like I can lose you any second right now.
Yeah.
Like I can lose you any second. Like I want to enjoy my time with you right now. You know, because I mean, there are so many things, you know, in relationships, you know, that you know, you don't give it your all, or you kind of let things slide, or, you know, blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. But when you go through emotional preps and you think of those different people in your life, I felt like in many ways prep strengthened my relationships, but also showed me where I was lacking in other relationships.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, eh?
It even showed me about people that I didn't really kind of feel for anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
So like what these exercises are, like I think I'm probably never cried this hard in real life.
Yeah.
Like this is what you got to do. And I know some people will be actors listening, not a lot are, but this is the exercises you have to do to build yourself and open yourself up emotionally. You walk through a door and there's 20, 30 people watching you, but it's just you, and you're walking through the door after you've got the worst news in your life. Yeah. And now you have to live in that. Your mum died, dad, father, grandfather, brother, whatever. Yeah. And you have to, and like they'll let it go on for 10 minutes sometimes.
If you're good, they'll let it go on for 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. That was great. And you're like, you could have called it about 10 minutes ago. And
then you stop, and then it's like you said, you're done, and you know it was acting. And if you did it really well, there's a part of you that feels a sense of achievement in a way, like, proud of yourself, but also like you can't just switch off in a second and be like, it sits with you, it lingers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a lot.
Yeah, I always made a thing where, you know, with everything I do, especially if it was like emotional prep, I always put in my mind, right? So I love dessert, right? Doesn't matter how much, I love dessert, right? So I would be like, okay, after class tonight, I'm gonna go get myself some pancakes. So I would immediately have something that I love that I would look forward to.
Yeah.
So when I did do something like that extreme, as soon as I'm finished, I'm like, okay, it's pancake time. Or, you know, okay, it's donut time, or, you know, anything like that.
If you don't do that, you'll burn yourself out emotionally, man. If you're always up such a high, like, emotional state.
Yeah. Because man, even though it's imaginary, like, you know, the beauty of our technique, I think in many ways, because man, there's other techniques that they allow you to stay stuck in that. But what I loved about our technique, even though it could linger, it would probably linger for the night.
Yeah,
maybe
max.
a week.
Yeah, like,
whatever, maximum a day or whatever. But the beauty of it is eventually your body will realize that it was just imaginary.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, the person you're crying about is here telling you to pick up the washing, or you know, your shoes are in the way again, you know, put them back in the...
Makes you grateful for certain relationships.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Was there ever a time in your journey that, because like I said, it's so fucking hard, that you almost gave up on the dream or that you doubted yourself?
I always know that there's a lot of ups and downs. That sometimes I'd feel like shit. Sometimes I'd feel awesome. Sometimes I feel like things aren't fair. Sometimes I'd feel like things are fair. And I always felt like, you know, in acting, you kind of do kind of go through that.
Yeah.
And there's definitely been a lot of times where I'm like, man, I don't know about this anymore, you know, if I didn't get a role or whatever. But that was when I was young, kind of growing up, when I was first coming through the industry.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I find the second you allow yourself to give up on something, you've lost.
Yeah.
You've lost. So it doesn't matter how shit it is and how much you want to kick and scream and be like, this isn't fair, or, you know, when it comes to like, this is like me when I was first auditioning, I used to be like, I just got to keep chipping away at it.
Because there's so much rejection,
just got to keep so much rejection. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously first starting out in the industry could be very hard because you're like, man, what did I do wrong? You know, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like it doesn't matter how much you want to quit, you just got to keep chipping at it. You know?
And what was the catalyst? Was there a point, obviously one word that was like drilled into us was momentum, right?
100%. Yeah.
At what point, obviously like after Here Come the Bibs, I'm sure everything was a lot easier. Auditions, bring Sam in. But before then, leading up to the show, I know you had a bunch of other credits beforehand, but was there a point when you started to realize, okay, I've got a bit of momentum building up. I'm starting to, I can see this is a real career for myself, and I'm starting to really feel like, hey, this is becoming not just a dream, but a reality?
Yeah, for sure. Even got to the point where when I wasn't getting those big auditions, when I was coming through, I was like, all right, I could sit here and say, I'm not getting these auditions. I can go do something about it.
Yeah.
So what I did, I was like, you know what? A lot of people say in order for you to get a show reel, you need to get something.
Yeah.
But I'm not able to get these auditions because I don't have anything good on my show reel. So what I did is I went and actually got a professional show reel done.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, when I was going for particular auditions, they were like, oh, no, we don't want to bring him in. He hasn't really, you know, we haven't seen much of him. My agent would send them this show reel saying, they'd be like, bring him in.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's always a way. You know, there's always a way. And I'd say someone that's coming through the industry at the beginning, you can wait to score something big, or you can try to make something happen yourself. And that doesn't necessarily mean having to, you know, create your own massive Hollywood film, you know, from your own pocket. That could just be putting down great scenes and allowing them to be shown to decision makers, if it's casting agents or you know, directors or producers or stuff. Yeah.
If when you're with an agency, like depending on how good they are, where you are, the stage of your career, if they're a big agency, if they're more of a boutique agency, like if you're just sitting around always waiting for your agent to call, dude, that's like 20%. You need to be doing as much as like your agent cares about your success, but like you need to be the one working the hardest for your career.
100%. Right? I mean, luck is a big thing.
Timing,
like,
right?
Yeah, timing, luck, and all of that is, you know, a beautiful thing, and it exists. But you can't just sit on the couch and expect that, okay, if luck is the answer to everything, I'm just going to sit on the couch and wait until I get a call to play a gigantic role tomorrow. You got to put in the hours of work.
Do you remember when you got the first email for the first audition for Here Come The Habibs?
Yeah, I still remember that.
What were you thinking?
I still remember getting that email, and I spoke to my agent and I was like, I don't know, like what do you think? Because, you know, as much as I loved comedy, I loved drama too.
Yeah.
And Habibs was the first comedy thing that I did.
Yeah.
So I used to love drama, and everything I used to do in class was drama monologues, drama this, drama that.
Yeah.
And so like I wanted to be drama. So when she told me it's a sitcom or a comedy, I was like, I don't know, I want to do drama, and you know, but I was young now, I wasn't thinking. My agent was like, you know, once she told me who was making it and what's happening, and I actually kind of got to read the script. Yeah, I was like, oh my, please, let's go for it.
Were there any other actors attached at that point, or?
Yeah, so at that point there was a network attached.
Was it
to
9 or
Channel 9?
Yeah.
But then, and there was a great production company, Jungle Boys, that at the time they're called Jungle now. Yeah. That were doing it. But I also, you know, like guys I used to watch growing up.
Yeah,
Rob
yeah.
Shahidi,
For sure.
you know, Tahir Bilgic,
Yeah.
you know, all of those guys. I used to love it. Like growing up, they used
These
to
like
make me
icons
laugh.
for people from the area, man.
Yeah, icons.
And they grow up
you know,
that pizza and shit.
Yeah,
Like they were like
they used to do their stage shows
Yeah.
and stuff. And honestly, when I found out that they were creating it as well, like even to this day, I love those guys.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Those guys. How you think they are is how they are. Like they're the most humble guys, the most funny guys. Like you meet comedians and they're funny on stage, but off stage is just normal. These guys are just like, when did you guys switch it off? Just 24/7, you know?
Oh, that's the best.
No, when I found out who was making it, who was doing it, I was like, please let's go for it. And yeah.
And what's the process like for like a big network show? How many rounds of auditions did you have to do for that?
I auditioned twice.
Only twice, and you got it.
Twice,
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, twice.
Far out.
So the first time I went in, and
how'd you feel like you went the first time?
The first time was, oh man, I remember the first time. I felt like I had the glasses on, but I got into character.
Yeah, for
right
sure.
Before like the audition even started, I had the glasses on and the chain, and I remember listening to, is it Sandstorm Daoud?
Yeah.
And I was like walking into my audition, and man, honestly, doing that audition, I felt like because I was just such in character, I didn't even feel it.
You just have fun.
To be honest,
man. You didn't feel like you're auditioning.
No. I just did it, and it was the audition was over in like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I had 2 or 3 takes, and then I think I got a call like maybe 2 weeks later or so.
Yeah.
Like call back with the director.
Yeah.
So I go,
Director
okay.
session.
So I said, all right, well, I got to take a look at what kind of worked.
Yeah.
You know? The number one thing that worked is I felt I was so grounded by being in character. So I did the second time.
Yeah.
Just went in, met the director, Darren Ashton at the time, super bloke.
Yeah.
And just had so much fun in it. And then honestly, like I did that audition and I kind of let it go, and I was still going through Pulse at the time.
Yeah.
Had things going on. So even though I wanted the show so much, because I was like towards the end of my graduation, had scenes, had this, had that, had rehearsals with this person, rehearsals with that person. So I never really thought about it too much. And then
probably the best way, man.
best way.
Yeah.
Like I had almost forgotten about it in a way.
Yeah.
You know? And probably, I don't know how long after, I get a call from my agent saying, congratulations.
Fuck.
I was like, what?
What's going through your head when you get that call?
Oh, I got the call. I was like, what? I was like being all like,
Playing
wow,
the call,
yeah, cool.
yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. Like I was a bit shocked, and then I hung up the phone and I was like, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Wait, is this real? Is this for real? And obviously it jumped up and down, and I still didn't tell my family that I got the role.
Who did you tell first?
The only person I told was my mum.
Yeah.
That's it.
No one else.
Because my mum's my mum.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So mom's like, do you want to tell your sisters and brothers? And I was like, no. I just, because I'm a big believer. I don't like to tell anyone nothing. I like to focus.
Yeah.
Let the results speak for themselves.
Okay.
So when someone messaged me, say, hey, you on that? I saw you on that show. It's like, yeah, I didn't tell anybody. I was on that show. I just, like, I'm a big believer with anything that I do. I like to keep the focus on what's more important right now.
Yeah.
Because there's no point telling everybody, oh, look, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing at the moment, because I feel like you kind of make it about that.
Yeah.
You kind of make it about impressing other people, worrying about what they're going to say. So I just focused on it. But yeah, then my brothers and sisters, when I had the camera test and they'd done them, I remember my sister was like,
what's going on?
Come here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Obviously, I told them, and they were ecstatic.
What was the response like from like your like family and friend, like your friends outside of like you're really in a circle? When did they find out, when you start putting up promos leading up to the release of the show?
Yeah.
What was the response like for that?
Oh, everybody was so happy. And, everyone who kind of believed in me was like, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew
it's perfect character for
Other
you, man.
friends.
For that silly side of you, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it, man. That was so fun. Such a fun show, man.
How many episodes? Was it a 1 episode a week show? Or like what was the schedule like for filming and production and stuff?
Yeah. So it was one show per week.
Yeah, it was like
one show per week. But then they used to play it on 9 Now.
Yeah.
On the app. And that was, we shot the first season in 7 weeks, I think it was. And the second season, we shot it in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it was.
'Cause
So
that
it's
was-
like episode a week.
What was it like? Because before was what kind of stuff did you do before? I know you did some like you appeared in some like other Australian TV series and stuff, but were they like more like a week here and there, like nothing as in
nothing that was like you know, kind of as big as the Habibs. Like,
did anything stand out as in like the professionalism or like what was it that like you're like whoa fuck this is like next level
when with the Habibs? Yeah. Even from the first read when you see all the executives and you know and stuff like that, and you know even the different actors that you see becoming attached to it, and you look them up and you're like, wow, these guys are like, you know, some of them are like really great at comedy and been in the industry for so long, and then you know you kind of you take a look at the production company, what they've made and how big they are, and obviously Channel 9 and stuff like that. Even like when you just walked into the reads, it was just a different type of read. You know, it was like Fox Studio read. It was just very, like, you know, every other read that you do is still great, still big. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like you knew this was like very serious in a way, you know, which I loved.
Did you ever get any flicker of imposter syndrome?
What do you mean?
As in, like, you felt fuck a little bit of fish out of water. I don't belong here.
So when one of the biggest things I used to do, even before I even got to the reads or met anybody, was, I'll be honest, I used to write affirmations.
Yeah.
On my thing of like, you've worked so hard, you deserve to be here.
Yeah.
And like, I used to even write it in my character.
Yeah.
You know, I used to say like in my character, I used to write it as well. So I used to write affirmations, a lot of affirmations, you know. And then like, there's a power to writing things, man.
Yeah.
You can say stuff as, you know, that's great. You could tell people that, you can try to psych yourself up. But sometimes if you just like let the pen to paper and just let your actual, I don't know if this is going to sound cheesy, but let your heart or your soul just write for you, man, that just kind of gets into your body. So when I rocked up there, I had already kind of psyched myself up that I've worked so hard. I've worked for years. I deserve to be here.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you know, like eventually, you know, someone else will be like, oh man, you know, like someone else will kind of let slip that, you know, this is great, this is big. So everyone's in the same circle.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it to become successful.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't matter if you've just come into, you know, the show or you've been in the industry for 20 years, you want this show to be successful. So I also realized at the end of the day, everybody's on the same team.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and there was like a beautiful feeling to that.
Was it originally just booked for season 1 and then it got renewed, or was it 2 seasons off the bat?
No, I think it went on.
Yeah,
like it kind of went on.
Yeah, all good.
Accidentally knocked into that. I got a bit of like mic hair in my mouth.
You were just talking about the affirmations.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've said it that many times. Acting can be a grueling industry on your psyche, on you mentally. Do you have any other techniques or practices that you've used throughout your career to help you keep feeling positive, doing your best work, staying sharp, and not letting these rejections and these, you know, the ups and downs get to you?
Yeah, you know, one of the biggest things, especially when it came to, you know, auditions and not kind of getting auditions, was once you know the reasons why sometimes you don't get auditions, as well. You know what I mean? So, you know, this was especially me when I was first going through the industry, you know, when I was like, this is not fair, this is not fair. But I always just believe that one day, what is mine is going to be mine.
Yeah.
And what's not mine, doesn't matter how much I'm going to, you know, be upset about it or, you know, want it so bad. If it's not mine, it's not mine. You know, there have been roles that have been cast, you know, over the years, and people will be like, man, that's you know, you should have been in that show. You should have played that character.
Yeah.
But some of them will even be surprised to be like, oh yeah, I didn't even get, you know, I didn't get the role. But, you know, there's been many aspects where sometimes you do an audition, you think, okay, done, I'm just going to go home. Whatever.
Yeah.
Next minute you get a call, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
we want to book you tomorrow. You know what I mean? So,
bro,
you know,
and sometimes it's not when you expect it, right?
Yeah, it's never when you expect it, no. But, you know, I think like the affirmations and always constantly telling myself that, you know, I've worked so hard. And especially with self-test, when I know that I've done the best of my ability.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing more that I can do. And like that's it. Like if it's
that's one of the main reasons, not one of the main reasons. One of the main reasons I want to do it is because it's fucking so much fun to act.
Yeah.
I don't see myself ever doing it full time. I was like the be on end of my life, but I really want to do it again. And one of the main reasons I want to do it is, man, because when I was doing it before, like I was always a pretty confident kid, but I was a kid when I was acting. Essentially, obviously I wasn't a kid, but I was a kid. Now, being me, who I am now, the level of like trust in myself, in the process, in the universe, in that I am special because I am me. And then when the right things come along for me, I will get them. And if you can walk into the room with that sort of confidence and that sort of, not that you don't give a fuck, you want it so bad, but you're okay if they don't pick you, is so different to when like every kid goes in there nervous and you want it so bad, you know?
Yeah, you kind of attach your worth to the result.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of things can kind of go wrong, you know, because, man, at the end of the day, all you really have is yourself. Doesn't matter how cliche that sounds, it's true, man. The only person you have at the end of the day is yourself.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one else that, you know, if you've walked into an audition or business meeting or whatever, doesn't matter who you rely on or who you think's going to do. All you have is yourself. So you always got to just try to bring 100% of yourself to the table.
I love that. And with acting, obviously you did the big show. Life in a way changes after that, at least for that period, you know, red carpets, breakfast TV shows and stuff. Yeah. It was fun, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
all that stuff was so much fun. But for everyone who kind of looks at the industry of acting and wants to get into acting for those moments, of the time you've spent in your whole acting career and the whole process, what percentage of your time has been doing those things?
I'd say when you start doing all of those kinds of red carpets and you start going onto these TV shows and stuff, it adds to like the excitement of everything. Of course,
yeah.
You know, but just like you show yourself when you're acting in your character, you're also starting to show a lot of your personal stuff. Out there. You're starting to share, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, you could be seeing, you know, speaking to someone. Yeah. It's just like speaking to someone on the street. It's like, oh, are you two a thing? It's like, no, I'm just you know, just whatever, you know? Or you're always being looked at under the microscope. Yeah. Always, you know? I mean, but don't get me wrong, like it's a great thing because it's part of the job. You know, anybody who thinks that anyone who wants to become a, you know, successful actor has to also know that part of the job is having to give up your kind of, you know, like allowing people to see, even if it's your social media or, you know, your family members might be on your social media or, you know, doing these red carpet events and, you know, like wear the wrong sock one day. You're probably going to get an article written about it.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Sam wore the wrong sock. Is he, you know, like whatever, you know, if, you know, you wear something that's not nice on the red carpet, so everything is always scrutinized.
Was that a challenge for you at all?
Not really. Not really. Like I always kind of made sure I wore the right socks. Every time I left the house. But no, it wasn't really kind of, you know, a challenge for me in a way of like, I knew, like I knew this was part of the job. And I also was told by a lot of people like, hey, get ready.
But some people do it just for those moments.
Yeah. Like it's, I don't know, man. Like I find you're heading down the realm of reality. Yeah. And that's cool. Like if you want to become a reality TV star and whatever, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a different world, you know, because as an actor, you want people to love and appreciate your skills. As a reality TV star, you want people to love and appreciate you. Yeah. You know, but it starts
to blur the lines a little bit when you're getting invited to Sam. Were you ever hesitant to like show more of yourself, open Sam up as a person? Because there's no Toufic or no character to hide behind now, you know?
100%. And I used to get told, like, I remember this one person in Melbourne was like, I was like, hi, how are you? And I'm Sam, nice to meet you. They're like, I don't know how to take you. Wait, what's wrong with your accent? I was like, nothing's wrong. So they were used to the Toufic accent.
Okay,
I was like, no, Toufic's a character I play. My name's Sam. I was like, I don't know how to take you. So you do kind of get that every so often. Like people expect to see your character day to day, like they think that's you. But yeah, no, it was always funny seeing people's faces when I just had a normal accent.
With after the show, obviously I touched on it before. I'm sure it was a little bit easier to get in the room for an auditions, right? Did you feel like, obviously being a Middle Eastern actor in Australia, you can fall into specific roles all the time. What's your thoughts on typecasting? Because a lot of, like, from the actors I speak to, some people think it's great because casting, it's the whole name of the game, getting cast. And some people think, oh, I don't want to be boxed in and just be that guy. What's your experience and what's your thoughts about typecasting?
I mean, it could be great if there's a lot of roles out there for you. If you're being typecasted as, you know, a typical person that's shown on TV, then it's great. You're getting like 100 auditions a week.
Yeah.
But I find that if you're just being typecasted based on, you know, your nationality or your skin color or whatever, and that's it. And that doesn't necessarily mean like if there's a role for example, a Lebanese, you know, specifically Lebanese based on a true character, of course. Yeah. Right? But I mean, like, you know, different nationalities can be doctors, different nationalities could be scientists, different nationalities can be doctors, or could be lawyers. Like, there's so many things that, you know, different nationalities are, and they kind of contribute to the world. So I think there could be a lot more diverse. Did
you find that was at all an issue for you, playing such an iconic like character like Toufic? Did you find that a bit after that?
I mean, yeah, when I first got off the show, you know, people were like, oh, he's, you know, comedy. But like at the end of the day, like as I was saying, when you get put in that position, you got to start doing whatever you can to kind of get out of that position. So obviously from there, I started doing, you know, started to take a lot more drama roles and stuff to kind of show people that I'm an actor. Like Toufic was me working hours a day to create a character. That's a character at the end of the day. Yeah. You know, so this other character that I'm working on, you know, that's based on drama or, you know, based on horror or whatever, is another character that I'm kind of building. So I find like, yes, you know, a lot of the time you can get typecasted, but you kind of have to ask yourself what you can do to kind of get out of that. Yeah. You know, even if it is starting to show different things on your social media, you know, or there's ways around it, and you need a good agent as well. Yeah. Are
you looking to do US stuff as well, or just Australian?
Yeah, no, I'd love to do US stuff,
because that's more open, right? Like you'll get all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. When I went to the US, I was working with one of my coaches over there, and like over there, it's not like everything's so open. Yeah. Everything's
like you said,
open.
There's 1,000 auditions a day.
100 auditions. Yeah, no? Like thousands, and everybody's an actor in the US and stuff. So they're a lot more open. I find. I mean, here it is. I think it's getting better. Yeah, I think it's getting better, but America's probably.
Have you done any work with Les?
No, I haven't.
Dude, bro, you would
I've heard great things about him.
Les, man, obviously I'm not in the acting space right now, but Les is the man.
Is he? Yeah,
bro, especially for someone like you, I feel like you would get along with him so much, man. Yeah. Like, because he was the same, like, kind of when he first came into it, was box a little bit, then he did what he did, like Pitch Black with Vin Diesel and stuff. But outside of him as an actor, bro, him as an acting coach, obviously you know your shit, but bro, he is the man. If I was going to go back to acting, he's the only, like,
over there,
first step is I'll go see Les.
I have to. I've heard so much about him, you know, but I
can't speak highly enough, particularly for someone at your level who can act, you can do all this great character work. He works with people that are at the stage, and all he helps them with is how to book the roles. His audition technique and his experience, his connections. He's like half the people on Home and Away and Neighbours, the two big Aussie shows, coached by him. Wow. Bro, yeah, he's the man. I want to change. Oh yeah, bro. Trust me. Just look at it. Oh, I'm not telling you what to do. You're the fucking professional. Tell me. But he's the man.
I've heard so much about him. So I'd have to check him out.
And he's like a Western Sydney kid as well, bro.
Yeah,
he's the same as us. Lebanese as well. He's the man. I want to do something on here just because it's a little bit different. We don't really do this, but because you're an actor, I'm really interested to ask proper actors some of these questions. I'm just going to go through a few, but first one is top 3 films of all time.
Oh,
it's tough for someone who loves it as much as you.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I mean, you'd have to go straight for the classic.
Yeah.
And have to go something like Casino.
Okay, yeah.
As number one.
Epic.
You know, I think that kind of was something that was massive at the time. My other two. I really loved growing up The Green Mile.
Yeah.
The Green Mile was like a deep one. I'm gonna try to like shift them up
Mix
a bit.
it
You got
up a
one
bit.
like that's like this, one like
three
this.
gangster films.
Yeah. Scarface now.
Godfather.
Number 3 would have to be I have to go a comedy here. I don't want to be biased. I mean, I have to say The Mask, but that's the kid talking here.
It is.
When I was a kid,
that's a goat status
I have to
movie.
say, yeah, I'd have to say like, you know, this movie kills me. I don't know why. It's dumb. It's Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah,
Like the Dumb and Dumber, but those kinds of films, like
yeah.
I'd have to say 3 of them have to be some of the top 3.
All right, and if I put a gun to your head and I said, Sam, who's your favorite actor?
Oh. Favorite actor. I'd have to say Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? Obviously epic, but I just
Yeah.
wouldn't mind.
I just feel like he encompasses everything that you're taught in acting school. You know, especially character work, especially emotional work. He's just so fluid.
He's given his life to be that masterpiece.
Yeah,
of an actor,
yeah.
right?
And he's just, man, like when I watch the Joker and stuff, like he's just like, you can't take your eyes off the screen, man. Like he's great. Like I find he's great, yeah.
I watched The Joker, and it doesn't happen to me much anymore. I watched The Joker, and I shit you not, for about a month, I'm like, I'm going to get back into acting.
Yeah.
That's how
he's
good
inspiring,
it is. It's
man.
inspiring, man, to
Yeah.
watch every second. It's so real. It's so full.
Yeah.
It's just, like you said, I could not take my eyes off him.
Yeah. No, he's like when you watch something and you're inspired to do something, you mean you've watched something really good.
You've been really well
You've watched
moved.
something that's touched you.
And to do it, I know it wasn't the same Joker, but for anyone to follow up the Joker after Heath Ledger's performance and be able to do it in their own way. And some would say on par, some would say better, but to be able to do a role that was so iconic and done so well with Heath Ledger and still put out that performance.
Yeah. And for me, they're very two different Jokers too.
Yeah.
You know? I loved Heath Ledger's Joker because I find like, it was kind of what I could see in the comic books a bit.
Yeah.
You know? And then you had Joaquin Phoenix that was just like, oh, that guy could actually be catching the train
Yeah, dude.
next to you.
It was
know?
real, man.
Yeah,
It was scary
very
to think,
real,
like, fuck, that could be.
Yeah.
Nah, good answer. What was the next one I had? All right. This one's interesting. It's something I thought about a lot.
Yeah.
If I had a magic wand and I go, Sam, if I can wave this one and any movie or TV show that's happened, it's being filmed now and you can replace that actor and play that character, who would it be?
Wow. If I had an opportunity. I've got multiple answers.
Yeah. Give me a couple then.
This is the hard one. Like I got multiple answers on it right now. My first thought went straight to Joey from Friends.
Really?
That's just it's just such an iconic show.
Didn't expect that.
You know? Just an iconic show. And sitcom, I love sitcoms.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Joey from Friends. Like that's one of them. I think of a drama now. If it was being done again. I'd have to say, what's his name? Forgot his name. It's in help me out here. What's the guy? Joe Pesci's in it. It's not Casino. It's the other one. What's the name of it?
You know?
The one where he's saying where he says something and the guy starts laughing and he goes, do I amuse you? It was an improv. He goes, do I amuse you? And then he
I don't know which one it is.
What's his name?
Joe, we'll find it. Look it up. Joe Pesci, whatever movie. Anyway, for me, bro.
Anyway, it was that one. Whatever that was called. Was it like Brooklyn's Tale or something?
Which actor would you want to work with? Like, if you could do a film with anyone, would it be Joaquin Phoenix?
It'd probably be, someone like Joaquin Phoenix. If it was like a comedy or something, or actually I'd say another person.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat would probably be Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Like, I heard he's retired. Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, Goodfellas. So if you want to ask the question again.
Yeah. So
Goodfellas. Yeah, it would be the Goodfellas as well. Yeah.
Bro, for me, I think, and it's changed recently, I honestly think if I was going to act and I could do one film or TV show starring alongside them, Cillian Murphy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Bro, fuck. I just can't take my eyes off him when he acts, man. And obviously Peaky Blinders is one of my Thomas Shelby, that character.
That's an awesome show.
So cool. But him in Dunkirk, man, just like watching him, he's one of those actors like I feel like the actors will appreciate. Because he's not so over the top and like in your face amazing, but he's just so real and everything is so fucking for me, fucking GOAT status. Okay. Last one, and then we'll do a couple more questions and wrap up. But the last one I wanted to get your opinion on is like, have you read a book, any book that you've read, one that changed your life? What stands out?
Any book that I've read that I'd have to say, I remember I got given this as a gift on my birthday once. And it was, I find this like it was an interesting book. Yeah. Is it The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck? Yeah. It was one of them. Yeah. I think that one there. And I think that one has been one that I was like, okay, I want to keep reading this right now. Just particularly to see,
as a fucking actor,
as an actor, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And there was one I read while I was acting. Was it called The Artist's Way? I think it was called The Artist's Way. The Artist's Way, yeah. Okay. I think it was called. And that was, if you really want to be an artist, like that is something that I remember it made you like write. It made you write every single day. Like it made you think every single day. And I think it was great because it worked hand in hand with Meisner. Yeah, in a way, you know, you kind of woke up and wrote, you know, I think it was like 10 things that you wanted to achieve, or, you know, 10 things that mattered to you. Yeah.
Have you read, I think this is what it's called. Joe Rogan shared it not long ago, but it's like meant to be like the same thing for an artist. You got to read it. I think it's called The War of Art.
Yes, I watched that podcast. You haven't read it though. Yeah. I got to get around to reading more books. Because I used to read a lot. Like I used to love reading, but I kind of just switched over to reading a lot of screenplays. Yeah, well, that's what you got to do, you know.
Plays and what do you do now to stay sharp? Like, obviously, like what's your process now?
Yeah, I just like just as you said, just trying to do as much as I can to kind of keep sharp. Really.
Do you work with coaches still, or like occasionally here and there?
I mean, like occasionally, obviously, when especially a couple of years ago when COVID hit, everyone was kind of trying to sort out their own lives and stuff. But then the industry came back like wildfire and everything was happening, and there were so many opportunities. That was great. So just keeping sharp, man. You know, even if it's like reading plays or watching movies or taking notes. Watching from coaches on YouTube. Okay. Speaking to particular coaches. Running scenes.
Did you work with Scott Sedita as well? Did you do the
I did,
sitcom thing?
That's
Scott fun, hey.
So I actually flew to LA to work with him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, for sitcom, man. Like,
he's the best.
Gets it, right?
Yeah, he's the best.
Remember, you should have, I don't know, were you there when he came to Pulse?
Yeah, 8 characters of comedy.
Yeah. Dude, that was one of the most fun, like, whatever, 2 or 3 day courses that I've done. It was heaps fun.
That was the best. And he was, he straight away knew what my character was.
What was your character?
I was a mix of 2.
Yeah.
So I was a mix of
I feel like
the womanizer.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
And the dumb one.
Yeah. I was the dumb one.
Were you the dumb one?
Yeah, I was the only one in my. Do we do it together?
I think we did. I got Lovable Loser too.
Yeah.
Bit of Lovable Loser.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of a mix of 3. I don't. Maybe we did.
I don't know if we did, but I remember I was the dumb one.
We're the dumb one.
The dumb one and a bit of Lovable Loser, but the thing is, like with the dumb one, and this is pretty like acting talk, but like it's just about having like a really naive energy because a lot of people can't play the dumb one. And I'm not dumb, but bro, I can play dumb so easily.
You know what's like I find like the misconception is with the dumb one is you got to be dumb, but it's not. It's actually really believing what you say. And you allow the writing to
do the work, right?
To do the work. Yeah. So like, you know, if you believe, you know, I don't know, cows live on the moon, you say that with conviction, like, you know, and everything's life and death behind the scenes. If this person doesn't believe, you know, the cows don't live on the moon, then something wrong with him. No, nothing wrong with me. I'm
you're living in your own universe, right?
Because the dumb one thinks he's smart.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And since like more recently, you did the a couple years the Sydney Tower Stair Challenge.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That was for a great charity who do amazing work called Giant Steps.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was running up, I think it's over 200 levels at Centrepoint Tower.
This is the Centrepoint Tower, yeah.
Dude, I felt like I needed new lungs after that.
Yeah.
Like new lungs. Like but it was like, obviously it's for a good cause.
Yeah.
The first time I did it, I was like, oh my, this is torture.
Yeah.
This is torture. But you think, okay, you know, it's for a good cause.
How long does it take you to run up?
So the first year I did it, I think I did it in like 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's decent.
Decent.
But then I trained for it the next year or the year after.
Yeah.
And that took me 12. I came first.
I saw
for that.
12.
And it took me, I think, 12 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, 12 minutes and 20 seconds.
Bro, your legs after that, you mustn't be able to walk down the stairs.
Dude, you know what? My legs were fine. My like, I felt like when I was talking, I was allowed to speak.
Are you like
the
running the whole time up?
So you kind of learn a technique. So I learned from the first one.
Yeah.
Don't use your legs all the time.
You're
just gonna burn.
Yeah.
So I was working a lot at like upper body as well. So I'd grab the handle and just like latch myself up.
How did you get involved with that? How did you get involved with that?
I actually got approached by him from a lovely lady called Samantha, and she was saying, you know, this is the cause that we have, and you know, would love for you to be a part of it. And you know, for me, it was, you know, something that was touching and something that I really wanted to, you know, spread the word for. And you know, so I was like, okay, let's do it. But yeah, like every time I finish that challenge, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to think about it next year. But then next year comes. And
You're
I'm
always
like,
put your hand up.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Do you have any passions outside of acting?
Multiple. Like, you know, I love everything when it comes to Web3.
Yeah.
It's like the
really
the
cool.
decentralized land. Like I find like new technologies really kind of fascinate me, you know, where we're kind of going with gaming and with everything. Like I feel like we're in a shift right now.
Yeah.
And but you know, it'll be like one of the .com bubbles, you know, people won't realize until it's too late.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a good chance to buy back in soon because everything's so low right now.
Yeah, everything. I mean, yeah, that's the cycle of the. I feel like that's the cycle. Like it happened years ago at the time, and everyone like completely. Yeah. You know, thought, okay, this is done, and then it came back to new highs. And it's just a cycle.
It's
you know?
not over, bro. No way.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to that space, you know, people don't realize there's other things. Everything's crashing.
Yeah, yeah. Like our stock market everywhere. With inflation going up.
Yeah, everything's crashing. What is it in the next couple of like, you know? Like they're saying, inflation's through the roof. There's everything. Everything's crashing. But, you know, obviously, you know, people need something to write about. As
an actor, when there's talks of recession and all this stuff, does that affect the acting industry a lot? Does it bother? Like, does it affect the?
I mean, like obviously, as an actor, you're fine.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes down to what the production companies or you know, whoever's paying is giving out the checks, what they want to do.
Yeah.
That kind of falls into the realm of whoever's paying the bills at the end of the day of like, you know, obviously, you know, like when COVID hit and everything like that, you know, there were a lot more strict stuff, you know, testing and, you know, couldn't walk near anybody, couldn't talk to anyone. Like you had to you had to speak to someone, but you know.
Yeah, were you on set
was-
at that throughout COVID, and you had to do those weird? I remember I did this. I was just, I was invited onto like a TV show thing, not as an actor, just as like they wanted business people around, and like, bro, you come in, you scan in, everyone's sitting in their own corner of the room, and then like you separate, and then okay, you come in, and we're all literally rubbing shoulders together, and as soon as you stop filming, everyone's got to separate and go back to their own corners. So it was such a weird,
it was,
weird
it
thing,
was, it was, it was kind of odd because I even was hearing stories of like some actors were exempt from wearing a mask.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that's whatever. I mean, you have to, you can't
Yeah.
record with the masks on, but as soon as they called cut, you had to put your mask on and self-distance.
What's it
And
called?
I'm like,
Social distance.
social distance.
Bro,
sorry,
good.
social
I don't want to
distance.
remember that. Let that fucking
I
term
hate
get
that
out of
word.
my
Yeah,
head.
Good,
man.
good.
I'm done with it, man.
Dude, it was, what a crazy time.
I know.
Dude.
I hope
What
we're
a
moving
crazy-
forward, bro. What's
I
next
think-
for you?
I think we're done.
What's next for Sam, bro? Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm just trying to keep sharp.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I can, and just see what the future holds for me, man. The only thing you can do, man, is just stay sharp and just
One thing about
try to be
like,
ready.
You don't seem like a man with a backup plan, and you can't be if you want to be an actor, bro. If
Yeah.
you want to really be an actor, you got to go all in, man.
You have to, man. You have to, because the second like something like that happens, then you're kind of giving yourself a out of really wanting it. You know what I mean? You're gonna really, really, really want, and everybody you look at, even if they're soccer players, if they're actors, that's what they want.
Yeah.
And that's what they go for.
Yeah.
And they get it.
Yeah, let's end with one piece of advice, because you're doing something based on a passion and based on something you really love, and there'd be a lot of people listening that are doing something that they don't really love or don't really enjoy. As someone who is completely on the end of taking the risk and backing yourself and just committing to living a life doing the things you love, why do you do it? And what sort of fulfillment does that give you?
Makes me happy. Really makes me happy, dude. Like, acting, it's gonna become my life, man.
Yeah.
And also, like, when you see people laughing, or you see that effect you can have on people, small, old, teenagers, man, there have been people who have gone through horrible things in their life, like even if it's like health issues or, and I remember getting approached at a game saying, she pulled me aside, and I won't mention issues, but she pulled me aside and was like, she pulled a bunch of us aside that were on the show, and she said, I just want to tell you, like, I've been going through a lot of health issues, and she was in hospital for like a whole month. She goes, your show has been getting me through it, because I've just been watching it, laughing and being so proud or whatever. And like, this is something you don't think of when you're being an actor. Like, as an actor, like, I just want to be on a TV show, blah blah blah. But you don't think of like how much it really affects people, how much you can really influence people in a good way or a bad way, or even if it's like using my voice to talk about anti-bullying, or at schools. There were so many schools that got us for anti-bullying, and like knowing that, for example, a teacher, you either fear or respect the teacher. 99% of the time it's fear. Kids don't like to listen sometimes to teachers. Yeah. So when you got someone coming on at the time and is telling a kid that, look, man, you shouldn't be bullying, man, and you have a proper chat with them, you find like it goes in, like it goes into the ear and goes in there, and it's something that they listen to, because it's someone that they kind of, in a way, they kind of look up to, admire, would probably, know more about their life. So, that's one thing I'd say, like, personally for me in acting. But I think just in general, man, like, this is probably so cliche to say, but life is so short, life goes by so quickly. And I find, there's a lot of things that happen in the world that can very instantly make you sad. Yeah. A lot of things that can happen. And I think doing what you love and doing your passion, if it puts a smile on your face every single day, or at least for like a minute a day, dude, you're doing something right.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Well, let's end it on that. I do much social media now. Anyone that wants to find you, where's the best place?
Yeah, usually just Instagram. I gotta get posting a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit quiet. But yeah, it's Instagram's Sam Alhanj.
Yeah, we'll link you for anyone that wants to check out Sam or anything that he's done. You'll be able to find some of his work on YouTube, IMDb, see some of the full things he's done. Anyway, man, so good catching up. To your point of life short, I couldn't, 8 years since we've last hung out. I can't believe it.
8 years, yeah.
It's almost amazing. A decade, man.
Yeah.
Almost a decade. We'll be 30 in a couple of years.
Feels like yesterday. I know.
That's the thing, man. We got to...
Got 2 more years. 2 more years before.
The older you get, bro, the more you realize that life is short and I want to spend as much of it as I can doing the things I love with the people that mean the most to me.
100%, man.
So there we go. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Agree. Same Cheers, here, man.
All right, there we go. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, could you please do me a quick favor and hit the follow or subscribe button? I honestly appreciate it more than you know. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.